Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I see we have quite a few more people joining, so we're going to wait just a moment and let people jump on board for about the next 60 seconds. And then we're going to hop into some really exciting, fun stuff with social media. So give us just a moment here. How are you doing, Lucy?
Doing good, doing good.
Good. Thank you, thank you. Okay, we're going to jump in here. Today we are talking about social media without the stress and no lift strategy for your practice. Very excited to take you through this solution, and hopefully it is going to be an answer to taking away some of the stress that's associated with posting on social. Quick back end here. Everyone is muted, so you don't have to worry if you're eating lunch or a dog is barking in the background. No worries here. We cannot hear you. Hopefully you can hear us well. If there are any issues, there is a chat box. Please put it in there and we'll be able to look at those. Also, there is, in the GoToWebinar panel, there's a place for questions. We would love to have your questions. It helps us with feedback. We want to be able to answer. You've taken time out of your busy day to be here, and we want to make sure you leave with some good golden nuggets to take with you today. My name is Rebecca Shade. I work with Remedy. I have been working with providers for about 18 years. I love helping providers with online visibility, seeing how you can better reach your communities, and we want to offer solutions to help you with that. And today I have Lucy joining. So excited to have her with us. And she is the co-founder and chief product officer for Social Cascade. She's also just a fantastic human. So if you have a chance to meet her at a conference, really Lucy is phenomenal, and she brings with her a wealth of knowledge. Just like I'm very passionate about reaching your communities and making an easier lift for your practice, Lucy's heart is to see how social media can really increase visibility for your practice and increase what your families are learning. So today we're going to look at why social media is essential for attracting and retaining your patients. This is key to a lot of practices. We also want to look at the kinds of content that drives engagement, visibility, and trust. There are automated content solutions, so we're going to look at how those work, how AI comes in to help schedule that content, decide what content really needs greater visibility and is gaining greater engagement. And then we're also going to look at social media success, what it looks like. And it's not just likes. We will pull up a live feed as well to show you that. So quickly, why online visibility matters. We know that parents are searching, and they're searching online long before they walk into your office. They are looking you up online. They're going to get an AI summary, which gives them lots of great information, but they're also going to go to your social. It's where a lot of people live. And so we want to meet them where they're at. Your digital presence, it really builds trust and credibility as you are influencers in your community. And so we want to build on that and help you to continue building that trust that you set the foundation for. It also gives us an opportunity for patient education and myth busting. So important in today's society to make sure people have relevant, really good content, that there is a great source of truth for your families to come to. And of course, it's going to help attract new patients, new families, and retain your existing ones because you're offering continuous information. We want to start today by just taking your pulse, seeing where you're at. And so we're going to do a very quick poll. If you are able, on your screen, this is going to come up in just a moment. But if you had to choose, what is the primary purpose of your practice's social media presence? Is it attracting new patients to your practice, highlighting your practice, your staff, providers, your clinic, maybe special things that you offer? Is it empowering families with true health information? Or do you sit back and go, we don't know, we do it because we have to? So I am going to launch this poll, and then you guys can fill this out. We're going to give you just a moment to do that. Thank you. I see you guys dialing in and giving us your answers. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. And I really love this question because it really is kind of what is the North Star of your social media presence for your practice and the primary purpose of it, knowing that we can use it for a variety of causes. But what is that number one goal for connecting with patients between office visits? And if you don't have an active social media presence today, think about it as what do you think it should be, or what do you want it to be?
That's really good. I'm going to give you guys just like 5 seconds here, and I will close this out. Okay, I'm going to share this, and Lucy, do you mind walking through this?
Great. Yeah, and what we often find is practices are using their social media to find, guide, or keep happy patients. So I love 56% of you say attracting new patients to your practice. And it is the digital front door. The website is great and an important component of that strategy, but so is social. We know that's where parents are. It's where they're seeing, who their friends are using, who their friends are going to, and it's very influential. And so, yeah, definitely a great resource for patient acquisition. But what we're also seeing is empowering families with true health information. There's a lot of misinformation on social media and beyond, swirling around in parents' social circles, et cetera. And so using your social media handles as a way to dispel those myths, mitigate misconceptions, and remind people of the things that they might even, they might not even know to Google. And so having that single source of truth there.
I love it.
And I like that also highlighting your practice. So, humanizing your practice, demonstrating that you're more than just a provider. You're also part of the community. You have children yourself. You understand what parents are going through, and you're there for them. And I think it's a really important tool to put that information that you wouldn't necessarily put on the website itself. That just lets people know that you are somebody that they can trust because you understand who they are as a person. Wonderful.
Love that. Thank you. Okay, we're going to jump in. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Great. Yeah. So, highlighting the importance of social media and why it's so important. So love it or hate it, it is the place that parents are looking for information. And it's where we're spending about 2.5 hours every single day. So we'll talk about this more, but on average, we have 25 apps on our phone. We use 5 of them on a daily basis. And almost always, regardless of socioeconomic status or geographic location, demographics information, almost always one of those 5 is social media. So it's important to show up there. And if you want to be attracting new patients or guiding the patients that you have or reminding your patients of why you're great, meeting them on social media is a wonderful and proven strategy. And in fact, 78% of parents report consulting social media when evaluating pediatricians. It's a big decision. And so we know that a strong social media presence goes into that decision making. More importantly, you're already an influencer. You know what? You've always been an influencer. We just want to help make it official on social media itself. And so really establishing your social media as that go-to source for on-demand information. We just talked about this, empowering patients in between, those office visits. Also, having social media be that place to build trust and loyalty with the patients that you have. But we know, we've heard from you, we've talked to you, we know that managing social media is a full-time job. It's very demanding. Deciding what you're going to post, creating that content, getting it scheduled, all of that is the equivalent of a full-time job, and you already have one of those. And so how can we help? Because we do want it to be that digital extension and representative of the in-office care that patients can expect. And our solution works for doing just that. And so excited to dig in and share more here. But we're trusted. This slide actually needs to be updated. We've got some great, just kind of hot off the press numbers. So we're actually trusted by more than 1,000 healthcare providers across the US. And our posts have reached more than 6 million families now. So lots of data to back all of this up. But what we're seeing is really that trusted relationship that you have with your patients matters, and it causes our content to perform much better, or your content to perform better. Having that 8.6 engagement rate, that means the percentage of people who saw your post that like it, share it, comment it, or save it. 8.6 engagement rate. Industry average is 1 to 4%. So we're 2xing that. Also having enhanced reach. So by you posting every single day and having more of a robust strategy, sometimes it can feel like you're shouting into the wind. I don't know if people are seeing this. They're not liking it. But what we know is that by posting every single day, when you do come through with those important practice announcements, you're getting 3 times the reach that you saw before. So that's huge. But my favorite stat on here is the follower satisfaction. So this is patient satisfaction. We run follower insight surveys, and we just ask, how are you liking the content that we're posting, and how does it make you feel about our practice? And we're consistently seeing very high ratings out of 10, so 9.4 follower satisfaction rating on average. People like it because people like you, and they want to hear from you. You're an influencer. So really great stats kind of backing up the solution that we provide. All right, so why social media? Why is it important? Let's dig into it. Let's dig into the data that we have. So first, there's an active conversation going on, and you really need to be a part of it. We talked about how patients have 25 apps on their phone. They're using 5 on a daily basis. One is almost always social media, and they're spending 2.5 hours a day there. I've already said this, but it's important to know. 2.5 hours a day, that's 900 hours a year. And so when you compare that to the roughly hour that they're spending with you and your practice, you can see that there's really a significant opportunity here. And so not only are they looking at social media, but we know that 80% of people are using social media to research their pediatricians and make those decisions. They're talking to friends, they're reviewing your online presence. They're trying to make that really hard decision about who am I going to trust with the care of my precious newborn baby. And this is especially true for the younger generations. They're not picking up the phone and asking questions. They're learning from their friends and influencers on social media. But there's a really interesting shift that's happening, and I want to share some research that's going on at Northwestern University with a professor, Dr. William Brady. And so what he's looking at is how are people seeking information online, especially health-related information. Instagram and Facebook, they have so much content that both of these platforms rely on the quote unquote algorithm. You've probably heard about it. This is how these platforms decide what is worthy of your eyeballs and what's not. And so Dr. Brady uses the example of a car wreck. We've all experienced a traffic backup, and it's not because the accident's necessarily blocking the road, but it's because everybody is slowing down to look, that looky-loo effect that happens. We're hardwired to pay attention to those emotional, those threatening things. This is a way of self-protection. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we want to see more car wrecks in the future. We're just paying attention to that one. Well, the algorithm doesn't know that. It doesn't know that we're slowing down to look at this because we're really interested in car wrecks, or if we're just interested in this one emotional thing that made us look. And so you might experience this where you've looked at a piece of content on Instagram or on Facebook, and now all of a sudden your algorithm seems to be locked into showing you more car wrecks. And it turns out it's not just us, and this is exactly what Dr. Brady found. So we ran a study asking questions related to this and found that people are kind of fed up with that, and it's causing people to move away from or want to move away from these platforms because they want content that's more quote unquote closer to home, content from these local credible sources that truly have an impact on our lives. These people are called micro-influencers. You might have heard of this term before. They have a small but loyal and engaged following. And that's exactly you. It's the pediatric medical home, and it's what you've always been. You are the most trusted source for health information on social media, and it perfectly situates you to ride this wave of interest in micro-influencers. And it's especially important as we weather this current storm of messaging confusion and misalignment and the guidance that's coming from traditional authorities in public health. You know, move through, oh, you can move through all of these. Sorry, keep going. Keep going. Yes, this is up here.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's head back just to the one with the example post on it. Sorry.
Yeah, you're all good.
This one works. Stop right here. Okay, so like I said, situating you to really ride this wave. People want to hear from you. It's like we're fed up with the other sources. What do you have to say? And so it gives you this opportunity to empower and educate your patients throughout the year. And more importantly, they'll share that information with their friends. And that means that your reputation, your brand, your message will extend well beyond your patient panel. We see it every single day. And more importantly, 60% of patients say that they trust healthcare providers more when they see them active on social. It demonstrates that you're paying attention and you're aware of what's going on and what's going around in your community. It also means that you're in a great position to help combat misinformation. So posts like this, I don't know if you remember this one from last summer. Posts like this get a lot of likes, and it makes it look very legitimate. But what Dr. Brady's research found is that micro-influencers like you can have a very strong and powerful effect because, again, people trust you more than they trust people.com. And your posts hold a lot of weight. And that's why the US Surgeon General a couple years ago put out a report calling on providers to show up on social media with credible, trustworthy information because you play an important role in tamping down the opinions that are formed from misleading posts like this one. All right, let's move on to the next poll.
All right, thank you. Such good information. Sorry I wasn't keeping up. I was engaged in what you were saying, Lucy. So in times of conflicting public health messages, which we've all seen, what role do you see yourself playing in guiding and educating your families? So I'm going to launch this. I feel highly responsible. I feel somewhat responsible. I provide clarity when I can, or I don't feel responsible for interpreting public guidance. If you could take just 1 minute, fill that out, and then Lucy's going to go over our answer. Thank you. Lots of responses coming in. We'll give this about 5 more seconds and then close out this poll. And this is the last question that we're going to have as a polling question. At the very end, we are going to ask if you could please fill out just a couple questions on a survey for us. So let's look at these answers and give us what you think about these answers, Lucy.
Yeah. So out there in the lead, 45% of you say, yeah, I feel highly responsible for this. And I'm sure that you're seeing this in the office as well, with parents coming in, asking questions related to headlines. You probably already or have always had to field and help mitigate these concerns and misconceptions. So feeling that strong sense of the obligation of the profession to educate patients and community members. and then we're split between I'm somewhat responsible, and then I provide clarity when I can. I understand that getting ahead and getting in front of every single headline that's out there is just unreasonable. How on earth could you do that? You just don't have time to do that. And I do think that our tool and our solution can help ease that burden some.
Absolutely.
All right. So, speaking of that, we know that many of you are Remedy users. So you already have a great and wonderful website filled with trusted and science-based medical content from the AAP. So it really is a go-to source for trusted guidance. But that does require people to show up to your website, which we know doesn't happen on a daily basis. But again, where are they going? Yes, they're going to social media. So if we can take that great information that's already there and repurpose it and post it on social media as well, what we have found is your content and your website is going to get 20 times more impressions when it's paired with a strong social media presence, because now you're posting content on social media with a link back to your website, and so you're just getting more referral traffic, and we're seeing that time and time again, 20 times the impressions, which is wonderful. And really exciting news that's coming out. So in the world of AI summaries, you've seen this. This is when you Google something, and instead of it saying, go to this link to learn more, it's giving you a summary right up there at the top that generally answers your question, which is great. It makes it easier from the user's perspective, but it is complicating, I'll say, SEO and making sure that your website is showing up. But previously Google has indexed or looked at Facebook content as a source of information that could show up in the Google search and the Google search results, and also in those AI summaries. But as of last week, Google is now also indexing Instagram. So what does that mean for you? Well, now Instagram is very, very important for your overall online visibility. And the posts that you're putting out on Instagram not only will show up in the app itself, but are now going to start showing up in your Google results, or in the Google results of people in your community. So those evergreen posts that you're putting out, the patient education posts that you're putting out, those commonly asked questions that you're sharing on Instagram are now going to also be a candidate for Google to look at and index and put into those AI summaries. So again, it really needs to be part of your overall SEO strategy and findability strategy in 2025. So that happened last week. All right, so we're talking about finding happy patients, right? So patient acquisition. So if you have the strong social media presence, we know that you can now easily run campaigns around clinical goals, quality metrics, and use it as a tool to find patients, guide patients, and retain those patients. Because we know a strong social media campaigns resulted in 20 to 30% higher vaccine compliance and well visit appointments. So it is a proven solution for doing that as well and driving those clinical outcomes. It's a place to reinforce messages to patients. You generally have 15-20 minutes for a well visit. It's a lot to cram in. So let's expand your influence and really cover all of those topics that you wanted to talk about on social media. And you're going to be, doing all of this in a very engaging and consumable format, in the format that people like. No more dense PDFs, but instead sharing this, highly engaging content on social. All right. So just to summarize these key points, really, you don't have to do everything. Social media, it can be a huge lift and it's very overwhelming. You don't need to be everywhere. What we're going to encourage you to do is focus on one or two platforms. The best candidates right now are still Facebook and Instagram. Regardless of how you feel about Facebook, how you feel about Instagram, I know that TikTok's a big deal, but we're still seeing the majority of users going to Facebook and Instagram, especially for health-related content. So focus on those two for now, and then extend out. We want you posting 5 to 7 times a week. It's a lot. It's a full-time job. We talked about this, but having that consistent drumbeat, Meta likes that and is going to prioritize your posts in that algorithm, and it makes you seem more worthy of the eyeballs. So that's what we want. We want you to be authentic and personal. So yes, patient education information, but also humanize the practice. Post the pictures from the, the practice events that are going on. Talk about what you like to do on the weekends. Talk about your hobbies. Do those provider spotlights. Use the 4-to-1 content rule. Social media is meant to be social. It shouldn't just be a one-way rah rah, we're great. Lift up those community organizations that are providing resources, services, events for your patients. Lift them up, reshare their content. Bring awareness to other accounts. Again, Meta likes that as well, but it also reinforces the what's in it for me as a follower. Okay, I get that you're great, but help this be a utility for me as the follower. Align your content with practice goals. We know it can move the needle on things like vaccine compliance and well visit compliance. So align content that way. Make sure that you are reinforcing those topics. Track success metrics. We're going to talk about that. How do we know this is working?
Yeah.
And just know that an effective strategy is going to take 7 to 15 hours per week. So it is a big chunk of time, but has some amazing results. All right, so defining success. How do I know it's working? Likes are a vanity metric, and it's hard not to pay attention to them. You might have experienced this. I'm posting all of this stuff, but it's not getting any likes. Like, that's a waste of time. It's not. So if you think about this people.com post, going back to that, it got 17,000 likes. It makes it look very legitimate. I'm sure they're patting themselves on the back for that. And you look at this other one that was posted by one of our practices, and it got 15 likes. And so on the surface, if we use just likes as a metric, the people.com one did much better. But let's dig into it a little bit more. If you go, so with people.com, a 1% engage or 0.1% engagement rate. So of all of the people who saw this post, 17,000 liked it, but a lot of people saw that post, and it has a pretty low engagement rate. On the other hand, this one got a 27% engagement rate. And so that's the micro influencer doing their thing, a small but loyal and engaged following that's really paying attention to the content that you're putting out. Let's dig in a little deeper. In addition, this got 20 saves and shares. So that means something that you posted was shared by 20 of your followers across their entire network. So now your influence, your brand, your reputation is going well beyond your patient panel. It's what you want. And it reached more than 800 families. This single post reached more than 800 families. And if you think about how many families you see in a day, and knowing that you also were able to influence and inspire 800 additional families on that day, pat yourself on the back. That's a big deal.
It really is. This is amazing. So we want to take you through, it's a really easy process when we step in and we come alongside you. The implementation of Social Savvy and getting it out to reach your families is so easy on your end. The lift, like we say, it is really a no lift on your side. So these are the 4 steps that we have put for the launch to implementation here. And it starts with looking at those content partners. So we have well over 150. Lucy, I know that has grown significantly. This was from like 4 or 5 months ago. Do you know what we're at now?
So we're over the 200 mark in terms of content partners. And every time we work with you to get you started with Social Savvy, we're going to ask you who's not in our repository that you'd like to see. It could be a national organization like some that you see here, but I think what's also more effective is, who's the local folks? Is it the library? Is it the school system? Is it the local food bank that's providing those resources, services, events that are making a difference in your community?
Absolutely. And just for example, a new partner, it took a while just to get a hold of the right people to connect the feed. Once we got a hold of the right person, they were so excited to connect us with their content. Was Autism Speaks, though. We know that's important for those that want to know more about ASD and are concerned for their own children, their friends, that now that content is pulled in. So very excited about the partners that are coming in. So the second step is really you log in. You just need your username and password for your social account. And then you can go through and select who you want to follow. And it even goes down and dives deeper into buckets of information. So maybe within the AAP, you're very concerned with mental health, but you did not want to know anything about avian flu from them. That's fine. You can mark which content is important to you. In step 3, we really have that's where AI steps in and is so efficient. It's going to intelligently select, schedule, and post to your social channels. Within that, you are always able to have complete autonomy and change whatever is going out. But what we're looking at is the behavior of your audience. So if we know on Instagram it is being opened and consumed at 7:15 in the morning more, then maybe some of those posts go out earlier. Also, content that is sent through Facebook is different than content through Instagram. It's going to look at parents and families and whoever's on those different social channels and what are they looking at more and deliver more of that same content. So you might find on Facebook, sometimes those are your older parents, so there might be more on teen bullying, anxiety, driving, all of those great things that you're talking with your teens about. Or on Instagram, you might see a little bit more on newborns sleeping on their back or car seat safety, food for toddlers, different things like that. Do you want to add anything there, Lucy, for step 3 here?
No, I think just a reminder, when we were talking about what it takes to get started here, and I said, expect to spend 7 to 15 hours a week on this is going to reduce that to effectively 0. And that's the important thing here is you can have all of the cake and eat it too. So great content from community partners, but also a schedule that's optimized for timeliness and relevance. So what is going on and what's going around in your community, like Rebecca was saying, as we're heading back to school, that's what our platform is going to be prioritizing right now. Back to school related content, reminders about appointments, sports physicals, school physicals, getting up to date on those vaccines, how to prepare your teenager for college and going off to college. That stuff that's top of mind for parents right now. And as we transition into the fall, of course, it'll change into, cold and flu season, reminders around the flu vaccines. So you don't have to spend time thinking about what am I going to post this week. You don't have to spend time about the topics that you should be posting. We're going to take care of all of that for you while still keeping you in the driver's seat and maintaining autonomy over those channels.
And I love that. Really, step 4 is that autonomy. Every week, you're going to receive an email that is going to detail out all the posts for Facebook, the posts for Instagram, and there's a little button, modify. If you want to delete, change, add your own post, you can do that with a click of a button. So we make it really easy, but you also know ahead of time what's going out, because as your parents see it, they might bring it up during visits. Hey, we saw this article and they want to talk about it. So it's also great for conversation starters for your family.
So digging into those content partners, this is important. So we believe strongly there's no need to reinvent the content wheel. There are organizations out there that are pouring time, resources, and expertise into how best do I talk to patients and to parents about these different topics. And not only are they spending time doing that, but they're measuring the success. This is how we know that a helmet campaign, for example, results in better safety for and more parents using helmets every single time a kid gets on a bike. And so you can know that not only is the content that's going out effective, but it is credible and trusted because we're pulling in the best minds across pediatric health and then also social determinants of health. But also, it's still up to you. You come in and you selected the organizations you know and trust. And so if there's logos on here that you're not familiar with or you might not align with, then just don't subscribe to those. Only subscribe to the ones that you know and trust and that are applicable to your patients. All right, so how this works, if you think about that family that's sitting there in the middle, panic Googling in the middle of the night, now you give them a place where they're already looking that is going to be a daily touch point of information sourced from these trusted content partners, the national and regional accounts, but also local organizations that you identify for us to pull in to the platform. And then also making sure that you have that custom branded messaging coming through as well. So your practice, your logo, your people, your reputation to remind people why you are great. And so again, getting back to that 4-to-1 content ratio, again, we still want you to humanize your practice and remind people of why they come see you. But all of this is going to be optimized for timeliness and relevance. And so that's where our proprietary use of AI comes in, knowing that, all right, flu is spiking in this community specifically, so let's make sure that we're prioritizing posts related to that. School is starting in this community, so let's prioritize back to school content here. And all of that fluctuates community to community. We know that, and so that's how we're really focusing our time and resources in building that community level context. And we've got more exciting features coming soon. So if you're already a user, great, pay attention to this. This is what you can expect kind of as we head into the fall. So better solutions for managing and doing that community management. So a consolidated inbox right in the app itself. So that means you can manage comments, reviews, direct messages across all the social platforms in a single interface. This often is a concern, what if I post something and it gets negative comments on it? We're going to bring attention to that. We're going to help you know how to respond to those things. And if it's getting overwhelming, we can guide you into how to shut it down for certain posts, but really managing that back and forth conversation. We're going to also offer you some options for automated responses. So a lot of times for direct messages, it's easier just to set up, hey, we don't manage this inbox 24/7. If you have specific questions, please do this instead. And it'll guide parents to your nurse advice line or an online tool that they can use. We're also going to help you with video content generation. So we're taking the lion's share of the content generation, but knowing that, when people see you and hear from you, it performs better and it helps people feel more connected to you as a practice. I get it. People don't like to be in front of the camera, so let's make it as easy as possible. And so working on tools to help that. And then also support for additional social platforms. So right now we're going to help you with Instagram and Facebook, but expanding that out for support for other social platforms, including Google My Business.
Fantastic. I love this slide. It is such a good visual representation of what happens when consistency jumps on board here.
Yeah, absolutely. We started with some stats at the beginning. Let's bring it back here. So this is what we typically see on Instagram and Facebook for practices. It's kind of a random smattering of posts. Each one of those dots is either a Facebook or an Instagram post, and you might relate to this. You'll have somebody who's excited about it, manage it for a while, and then it falls off. Or you're really good about posting about the holidays, or we're closing early for snow, but coming through every single day is just a difficult task. And so when Social Savvy comes along and the service begins, what you see is, of course, an explosion in the frequency of posts. You're going to be posting every single day without you having to do anything, but the engagement rate goes up quite a bit. So a reminder, engagement rates, this is the percentage of people who saw that post, that like, share, comment, or save it. And so it's really our just best indicator of, is this content working? And you'll see a significant increase in engagement rate as well. Again, a testament to two things. You're posting every single day, Meta likes that, but more importantly, patients want to hear from you. They trust you. They trust what you have to say. So if we take the exact same piece of content that, let's say, Parents Together created and posted, it's going to get a certain engagement rate, but when it comes through your trusted voice, it performs much better. We have nothing to do with that. That's all just the great service that you're providing to patients, and we just want to help expand that influence that you've already created.
Absolutely. So this is how we put our packages together. We have two different packages for Social Savvy and for the intelligent content curation and delivery. One on the left that you're seeing is daily posts. So you'll have 7 posts for Facebook a week, 7 for Instagram. We are going to already put those on the calendar. No lift for you. There's nothing you have to do. But when that email comes through, you can always change those. You also still have that autonomy that you can go in and put very personal posts in whenever you want. It just takes away that anxiety of feeling like, oh my gosh, we haven't posted in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So then you know the posts are going, and when you do add a post, more eyeballs will be on that. So that's our basic package. And with that, it is $599 a month for that selection. If you want us doing the curated posts for you, it is really important to have branded posts. So if you want the absolute zero list solution that we're taking care of that too, we will create posts every week for you. You can send us content. So if you say, hey, we really want to highlight back to school, we're going to do a backpack drive and give away backpacks to kiddos in our community. Pictures are great. Videos are great. Send that to us and we'll be able to write the post around it. But now we've added that personal touch of what you're doing right then in your community. I love the highlighted posts I'll show you in a moment for providers. So we always do posts where we're really going to uplift your providers. We know from Google Analytics, when people do land on your website, the most landed on pages after your homepage are going to be provider bios, your locations, they want to know where you're at, and then medical content comes in next. And so because of that, those are things we also highlight in these personal posts. But again, we can do that for you. We're going to link back to the page on your website with the branded post. Your logo will be on there, and you can, again, edit any of those. So we do have an offer. I'll show you what that looks like on Facebook here in just a second. But our special offer, thank you for showing up today. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to all the exciting things that are going on with social media, how it's affecting search, because it really is, and how you can meet the needs of your parents because they're already on social. So part of that is through the end of the month, you'll get half off the one-time setup fee, and then you get half off your first month as well when we have you set up. Setup is pretty quick on our end, so we can get you going. If you want to email solutions@officepracticum.com. Also, in just a moment, there's going to be a survey with just a couple of questions. You can give us your information there. I would greatly appreciate you filling out the survey. It helps Lucy and I. We do a lot of webinars and meetings with our practices, and we also want to be better at what we do. So that helps us to know how best to meet your need as a practice. Let me just pull up, this is a practice that we post for, and we're going to give a shout out to Dr. Monica here. So this is one of the posts that was curated that we wanted to highlight a provider within the practice. But if you look over here to the right, the engagement is just fantastic. Again, parents love this practice already. The following is not huge. They have about 500 followers, but those followers are really engaged, and that's what you're looking for. So if we look here, we have 46 people that have liked over here. We have 17 comments. Some of these comments are just so wonderful. You're the most wonderful human and doctor on the planet. I love that. So as parents are looking through and they're going, is this a practice I want to go to? Is this a provider I can trust? All of these comments are telling you, yes, we can absolutely trust this person, and then really impressive 5 shares. So that is 5 additional audiences you weren't in front of before that now you are in front of. So that's really powerful. And again, it's because of that drumbeat, that cadence that is daily, that gets more eyeballs on these personal posts when they do go up. Just a couple of last things here. We have some resources attached. So we have some case studies that you can look at. If you are already with Office Practicum, ask your Solutions Account Manager. They would be happy to share this information with you, the case studies that we have here. And then for next webinar coming up, please sign up. It is Wednesday, August 6th. I'm going to be joined by Graham, the Director of Remedy Suite, and we're going to walk through website SEO, how that has changed with visibility with AI. And so we hope you'll be a part of that so that you can learn more. And we're going to jump into questions. So Lucy, we had one question come up about videos, like how can they get help with editing their videos? What do we do there?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Rebecca mentioned, if you take advantage of that professional level package, we will be integrating any of the raw content that you provide to us into those custom weekly branded posts already. And if not, I know that video can be a bear. And so that's why we're launching our new kind of video generation and video creation tools this fall. And so be on the lookout for that. We know that it performs very well. And people like to see you and hear from you. And so we'll be ready with scripts and tips and tricks for getting that video created that then we can make into and polish for social.
Yeah, and just a suggestion, Google owns YouTube. Google's the largest search engine. They paid a lot of money to buy YouTube. And so YouTube videos are important. You can grab your YouTube channel for free, no cost to you. And I would start with provider bios. Do really short snippets, 30 seconds, maybe to a minute, of that provider talking about why they're a pediatrician, why they love doing what they do, if they speak other languages, what they specialize in, anything so that family watching the video can feel a point of connection. Connection is really key, especially in pediatrics where these families are with you 18 to 30 years. We want to make sure they really feel a part of that family. So claim that channel. If you have a website with us, we'll help you add it to your website, but you can double use those videos on social as well. So it truly all works together. It is global now in how this works. So I have another question. It says, we have our Facebook and Instagram tied together, but Meta doesn't like to post links or articles to Instagram. Any tips on how to make it so we don't have to do double the work? We hear this often.
Yeah, social savvy. So it wouldn't only be double the work, it would be zero work. And so definitely here to support you with that. Always happy to do a social media assessment with kind of what you're currently doing and working with and kind of working through the kinks that you do have, as part of the deeper dive into the social savvy solution.
Yeah. Here's another great question. So someone here, they say, I am the content creator for my practice and I already post 4 to 5 times a week. Hey, kudos to you. That is a full-time job. I usually post similar content every week. Is that okay to do, or should I switch up the content every week? Good question. Thank you.
Great question. So would love to ask follow-up questions about what that content is, what the topics are, how you're aligning to what you're hearing. Oftentimes, if you find yourself resharing the same post, so if it's a reminder about back to school and getting those appointments lined up and those physicals and school sports physicals, pin it instead of repost it. So there is that option to pin a post to the top of your profile. And that way, the first thing that people see when they come to your page are the pinned posts. So that's going to be your most important information. This is where you can pin your provider spotlights. So just imagine the first person, they just heard about your practice, are coming to your page for the first time. What do you want up there at the top? Or if you're already a patient or a family, what do you want them to know in that moment? So use the pin post feature on both Instagram and Facebook to your advantage, so you're not reposting the same content over and over again.
Great answer. This is another really good question. So I'll answer this one. Do you have to have Remedy Connect to have this offer? No, this is standalone. So even if you don't have Office Practicum as your EHR, if you don't use Remedy Connect for anything, if you found us on LinkedIn or another format, and thank you for joining us today, this is standalone. You can add this regardless of any other services you have through us. The other half of that, I think this might be a Remedy Connect user. They said, is there an offer that combines Remedy Connect and the social platform offer? I'm not sure if you're already a user, but if you are, talk to your account manager. So if you're Remedy only, reach out to me. I'd love to help you. If you are with Office Practicum, I believe the links are on there, but you'd reach out to your solution account manager there. And we combine different things. If you have multiple services with us, we will take care of that. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I think there might be another one. Sorry, my questions, there are quite a few, but it's not letting me get to the next one. So give me 1 second. I know we're about to close out. Thank you again for all of your wonderful time that you guys spent with us today. Greatly appreciated. Dries, if you are still on and able to ask the questions, I don't know why. If there are any that I missed, it's not letting me go to the next one.
Yeah, Rebecca, I think there were just questions around what was included, getting some more detailed information about what each package include, and then what the setup fee was to do that in relation to the promo that we're running.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for reading that to me. So the one-time setup fee is $300. Again, if you can sign up by the end of the month, we are cutting that in half to say thank you for showing up today. So essentially, you're getting paid $150 or not paying us for coming today if you sign up. The other half of that promo is it will be half for your first month. So whether you do $5.99 for the basic, where it's not that basic actually, we're posting every day for you to Instagram and Facebook, different posts reaching your audience, or $747 for the pro package, that we include the branded posts within that to take the lift completely away from you. The first month on either would be half off also.
Thank you, Rebecca. And then there was a question that there is a person that has a business Facebook account and a personal Facebook account, and they are linked. And is there a way to separate the two so that the feed that's going into either the personal account doesn't end up on the company account and vice versa?
Absolutely. Yeah, Facebook is interesting in that the way it's set up, to have a business page, it has to be connected to a personal page. And I know that can be a little uncomfortable or just strange, thinking like, oh, I have to connect this to my personal Facebook. But there are definitely ways to put the firewall up between the two. And again, we're happy to explore that and help troubleshoot for you.
And then I know we are hitting up on time, but there was one other question about, are there current customer sites that they can look at to see the program in motion in real time? Is there somewhere we can set? Oh, shaking head, yes. So I'm going to let you guys take that one.
Yeah, for both of us, we have sites. Reach out. We'll send you multiple to look at. Depending where your practice is, how large it is, we try to give you a similar practice to look at. So if you just reach out, we will send that information to you with accounts you can look at.
Wonderful, Rebecca. That's the last question that I see on here for today. So I'm going to turn it back to you for a wrap.
Awesome. Well, again, everyone, thank you for your time. We know how busy each person is, and we appreciate that you did take time out today to learn more. Hopefully you took some nuggets away, whether you're going to continue to do your own social or if you want to reach out, we'd love to help you with that as well. As soon as I close here in just a minute, please fill out the survey. It's just a couple of questions. Again, that is valuable feedback for us. We appreciate it, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you, Lucy. You are phenomenal. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.